Hey everyone, it's me again. I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. And you know what? I absolutely love watching these every year, so I know I'm gonna love doing it. I love hearing about what other people have liked and disliked and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. The first question, I'm not sure if these are questions actually, probably more like a category. The first category is the best book you've read in 2019. And I think it's really unfair for someone to ask a person who reads a lot, like, what is your number one favorite book? It's just not okay. But I'm gonna answer that question anyways. This one was kind of hard because a lot of the books that I would have chosen for this, I wanted to put in different categories. So I wouldn't say that this is like the only best book I've read this year. It's just like this one I didn't put into any other categories for this video. That would be Lock and Key, Volume 1 by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. This was just such a great start to a series. I'm so interested in what's going to happen next. I thought the illustrations were great. They were gory. The character development is good. And of course, the house is so weird. And I just really need to know what's gonna go on next here. I need to get myself the second copy soon. The next category is the best sequel you've read in 2019. And there's only a couple to choose from, but I think that even if I had read a couple more, this one still would have been my pick. And that is The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the second book in, what do they call it? The Folk of the Air series, I think. Something like that. This is a young adult, a darker young adult fantasy series that focuses on the Fae. And she does it the way I love, where the fairies are tricky and cruel and they aren't necessarily nice to mortals. And I really like that. I thought this was a great continuation of the series. It left on such a wicked cliffhanger. Like, I don't know how are any of us going to wait for the third book? And like, the third book, that means that the series is going to be done after that, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for that either. This definitely is not for everyone. I know I center around horror in my channel, but I do occasionally read other genres. I really like fantasy too. So if you are a fantasy reader, or if you like the young adult genre, I think this would be a really good one to try if you haven't. The first book is called The Cruel Prince, and that one was really great too. So this series all around has just been great so far. The next category is a new release you haven't read yet, but you want to this year. And for that, I have chosen We Live Inside Your Eyes by Keelan Patrick Burke. This is his most recent short story collection. I bought it right when it came out. It hasn't been out long, but it has sat on my shelf since I bought it. And I think next month, July is my birthday month. So I think that, so for my TBR, I'm going to kind of like try to relax and just pick some stuff that I've really been wanting to get to. And this will be one of those because I really love his stuff. So like, why wouldn't I want to pick this up? The next category is the biggest disappointment of 2019. And this one I'm not going to talk much about because it will be in my wrap up for this month because I just read it. And that is If You See Her by Anya Alborn. Now this is not the lowest rated book or the book that I've rated the lowest this year or anything like that. This is just the biggest disappointment because what I've read of Anya Alborn stuff so far has been all 4 and 5 stars. I really love her stuff. And this one just didn't hit the mark for me. So I went into it expecting to be blown away. I expected to really love it, and I just didn't, so it was disappointing. The next category is the biggest surprise, and I talk about this book all the fucking time since I read it. It's Tampa by Lissa Nutting. This was actually on my list of 10 books I anticipated would be 5-star reads for me. And this was, so it's not actually like a surprise that I liked it because I thought that I might. I was just really surprised by the content in here. It was really like, this is bordering, I would say with the content in here, if this wasn't about such a serious topic, that this would be probably erotica. Like, it is very graphic. I don't know, maybe not erotica, because like it's not, the language is not frilly. It's very like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. This book surprised me. It was such a fucking great book though. I read it in April, so if you want a full rundown on that, you can watch my wrap up for April of 2019, and that will give you a better idea, I think, about what that's about. Because we don't want this video to be 20 minutes long. It's already over 10 minutes. Oh my God. Category number 7 is favorite new to you author. And on my list, I was kind of, I don't know. I expected to have more than a couple choices, but I've been reading a lot of Stephen King this year. So for that, I would choose Kathleen Kaufman. She wrote Hag, which I read at the very, I think this was the first book actually I read this year. And for being such a slow-paced book, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like this was slow and kind of like dreamlike, and the writing was just really nice. And I would love to give anything she writes a try. I actually should look up and see. I'm not sure. I think this might be a debut. Shoot. I always do this where I say stuff like that and then it's like, well, I should have looked this up and I didn't. It might not be a debut, but I need to look up and see if she's written anything else because I'd like to experience her writing in a book again. Number 8 is newest fictional crush. I had a hard time with this one too because like when you read a lot of horror books, I don't know if there's a lot of people to crush on, figuratively. But I was thinking about it, and one of my favorite characters in the Red Rising trilogy that I finished this year was Severo. And he was just such a freaky little weirdo. So it was like, hello? He runs around in a wolf skin. He has this group that he's put together called the Howlers. He's just crass and straightforward, and he's missing an eyeball, and he's just my favorite. So I think if I had to pick a crush, it would be him. He's just so funny and weird. Number 9 is favorite character. And I had to pick a villain for this one. I just had to. It's John Rainbird from Firestarter. He's King just writes great characters all around, but he writes some of the best villains. I think this probably would have been a tie between John Rainbird and Randall Flagg, known as Flagg in The Eyes of the Dragon, because they're both just like so gleefully bad, and it's so, man, it's good. They make great villains. You love to hate them. And yeah, I don't know. John Rainbird was great. He was manipulative and really sinister in such a great way. Category 10 is a book that made you cry, and I don't do that really. It's probably bad for me that I don't ever do that. But I think a book that made me very close to crying, like my chest kind of hitched. I went like, you know. But that was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This was just a really great book. It was great. It was about a friendship that goes through a really hard time. Grady Hendrix is just so fucking funny, and reading his books is just like an absolute delight. I really loved this book. The end was so touching and such a great way to end such a sometimes grody book. Number 11 was a book that made you happy. And this, I have a hard time with this one too, because like when you read a lot of horror, you're not really reading it to feel happy. But Girls Made of Paper and Fire made me happy because if you didn't watch my wrap up for last month, that's when I read this. There is a female-female romance in this. So there's a queer relationship, and I thought the author just did it so well. As I said in my wrap up, I think maybe not intentionally, but sometimes it seems like in young adult books, when there is a queer relationship, it seems like kind of an afterthought to the author, like something where maybe they wrote the book and then they decided, I'm going to try to make this more diverse, which is great. But then it's like an afterthought that these characters, oh, they're actually gay. And it's like, that's great. But like, it doesn't feel real. Like it feels like, you know, when characters have insta love with somebody, I feel like a lot of queer relationships, at least from what I've read, have that feel to them, and it just doesn't feel genuine. And this book made me happy because the relationship was great. It was so great. Number 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought this year. And hands down, Inspection by Josh Malerman, just because this is my favorite fucking color. And it is like so tealy green minty, and it's just great. This is my favorite color. This is like exactly my favorite color. And it's spooky and just perfect. I love this cover so much. All right, I just realized I missed a category, and that is most anticipated releases for the end of this year. God, there are so many. I actually had to like make a list because there's no way I would just remember all of them off the top of my head. Let's see. And actually a lot of these come out in July, which, as I said, is my birthday month. So do you think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. The first one here is Growing Things by Paul Tremblay. This actually comes out right on my fucking birthday. So happy birthday to me. I am going to have to pre-order this. Or maybe, because I'm not sure if I could even like go out and find it at Barnes & Noble probably. Anyway, this is a short story collection, and I just like am going to read anything that Paul Tremblay writes, so. The next one also comes out in July, and that is The Toll by Sherry Priest. I've actually debated getting some of her books in the past, but I haven't. So I've never read anything by her, but The Toll sounds so weird. Let me read you the synopsis. It says, State Road 177 runs along the Suwannee River between Fargo, Georgia and Okefenokee Swamp. Drive that route from east to west and you'll cross 6 bridges. Take it from west to east and you might find 7, but you'd better hope not. That's not even the full synopsis. And what the fuck? Like, I just need to know what that's about. It just sounds so spooky and like getting into like Bridgewater Triangle territory, you know? Like, I am so into that. It sounds so good. So I really am looking forward to that one. Okay, another one I'm super, super looking forward to is The Possession by Michael Rutger. This is the sequel to The Anomaly, which if you watch my channel, you know I fucking loved. And this was actually set to come out on my birthday originally too, which would have been such a crazy birthday, but it got pushed back to the end of July. So that gives you time though to read The Anomaly Files, or God, why have I been calling it The Anomaly Files? It's just called The Anomaly. It's one of my favorite books and I can't even tell you the right name. Anyways, this gives you time to read The Anomaly before The Possession comes out. This, I don't think, is a direct sequel to what happened in The Anomaly, but it does have the crew from The Anomaly Files again, and I am so psyched about it. All right, and to make this list not super fucking long, the last one I'm really looking forward to is Ward by Kaylin Patrick Burke. I don't believe this has a set release date yet, so it was slotted at first to come out in June, I believe, but obviously it has not. And this is a prequel, I'm pretty sure it's a prequel, to his novella Sour Candy, which I loved, so I'm really looking forward to that. And the cover is bananas. I just want that on my shelf. I want to hold it in my hands and I want to look at it with my eyeballs. Okay, the last category for this is the end of it now, okay? Is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? This is a really hard question. But I picked out some that I'm really, really interested in getting into by the end of the year, hopefully. The first one here is The Gilghoul by Henry W. Hotcherman. This is about like a creepy bride who's possessed by like a German demon, I believe. I think the German is, or the Gilghoul, yes. Some sort of German demon. This has such great artwork on the fucking cover. It's so great. So I'd really like to get to that. I'd like to get to this darker young adults. I think it's a fantasy novel about a badass assassin. This is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, and I've had this on my shelf for way too long, and like just the aesthetics here, this is what I aspire to be. Just like creepy white face, bleedy drippy eyeballs, like gold paint somehow, and like wings. So just kidding, but it looks so fucking cool. Another one recently that I received from Nightworms is Halloween Fiend by C.B. Hunt. I just think that this sounds like so much fun. It will be a quick and short read, and I want to get to it soon. This is another one that just has such great artwork. Okay, lucky number 4 here is Break the Bodies, Haunt... Yes, I'm saying it right. Break the Bodies, Haunt the Bones by Michael Dean Hicks. And this is about like a small town where people are just like haunted by ghosts, and it seems like each individual may be haunted by different ghosts that make them do different weird things. And I love the cover of this one again, and it just sounds so strange, and I just want to figure out what it's all about. So that's it. This is longer than I anticipated this taking, but that is my mid-year book freak out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be doing another video pertaining to the goals I set for myself in 2019 and just like how I'm doing on them, I guess. That will be out probably in the beginning of July or the very end of June. My little brother is coming to visit me the first week of July for my birthday, so I don't know. I think a lot of these are either going to be pushed back into later in July, or I'm going to be filming like 20 videos at the end of June. So we'll see how that works out. You guys don't need to know the minutia of my life, but here I am telling you anyways. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I'm blown away. It is still fucking incredible to me that people are watching and liking my videos. It's crazy. Thank you again so much. Let me know, have you read any of these? What do you think about them? What books are you looking forward to in the last half of 2019? Because I always have such a hard time finding, especially in horror, like coming releases, unless it's from somebody like Stephen King or Robert McCammon and stuff like that. So let me know. Just let me know, okay? Let me know what's going on. Tell me what's happening. Thank you so much. I will see you guys later.